Hello, hello, hello. Great morning to you. This is Lois Kofi here. Super excited and fired up to be recording my first live Podbean podcast. Looking forward to any feedback you guys have on the quality of this. I'll be honest with you, I have learned through life the best way to do something that is scary or the best way to learn, quite honestly, is just to dive head first, jump into the pool, and learn how to swim. So that's what I'm doing here today, totally candid and transparent with you. Thank you so much for joining. I'm global sales trainer Lois Kofi, and I have been in sales for over 20 years now. And my podcast is called Healthy and Wealthy and Wise for a lot of reasons. The core reason being that I learned that in business as in life, you can't just focus on business. You also can't just focus on your health. You got to learn from your journey and apply that knowledge, which is called wisdom. And so after, fumbling through a lot of life lessons and quite honestly, some very traumatic ones, I'm sharing through my podcast weekly monologue. 1 week is health. This week happens to be health. 1 week is wealth. That's next week. And 1 week is wisdom, which was last week. And I hope you heard my interview with Jenny Harkleroad. It was phenomenal. We had a lot of listeners. We had a lot of people take advantage of her free offer. And today I'm transitioning back into my first conversation, and I change it every week because each one of these topics as a standalone is vital to your success. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, 3 weeks ago, I talked a little bit about the compound effect of health and just really making sure that I shared with you a little bit of my story. If you didn't listen to that in a nutshell, I thought I was a healthy person. I was very successful at sales, very successful, made six figures in my first year at the age of 22, going on 23 in real estate sales, and was only doing it part time, and found out that I was really, really in love with sales and helping people. And at the same time, I also saw that I was surrounded by a lot of salespeople who were struggling with their health. And I was a marathoner. I was a marathon and fitness coach, kind of as a hobby career outside of real estate. And I loved helping people accomplish their goals. And that being still true to this day, I really have fallen in love with helping people after all of what I've learned, all of I've seen in the industry of sales, no matter what I was selling, you guys. And I've been in real estate. I've been in the fitness industry. I've had sold nutritional products. I've sold coffee. Pretty much something as low as $1 per item, all the way up to $1 million listing. I've seen it all, and there was a common theme though. No matter what it was, a lot of people, they chase the sale, they chase the almighty dollar, and they compromise their health. And for that reason, I did the same thing. I'm speaking authentically, and I'm not speaking at you. I'm speaking with you. And being transparent, when I lost my health, I didn't even know it until the recession happened, and I slowed down enough to realize that I was really sick. I was not well. Maybe I could run a marathon, but I had really not cared about my food. And that's why the title today is Food is Our Medicine. It's very important to understand that that is the theme of today's topic of conversation. It's a nice lead in to my interview on Friday, because every week I start off with a monologue, almost like my own radio show, talking about health or wealth or wisdom application. And then on Fridays, I interview a guest speaker, and this Friday is going to be Julie Litchfield, and she's going to be helping us talk about how you can choose health for your life, your whole lifetime, not just for a little bit. And the cornerstone, because she's a health and nutrition coach, the cornerstone is, even though I was in the fitness industry while I was also selling real estate at a high level, I was managing my time very well because I was training for marathons or Ironman triathlons, which is almost like a full-time job. If you've never done it, it's pretty much a 30 to 40 hour a week commitment of training and taking care of the body and the mind. Fitness is definitely mental. So is sales. But what I didn't realize is part of that mental game, that mindset, was the daily choices I was making that was also undermining me and my sales career, because I was drinking 1, 2, 3 venti chai tea lattes a day at Starbucks. I was always go, 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 going after the next sale, getting to the next meeting, booked back to back to back to back to back, which most salespeople do. And I was surrounded by a lot of salespeople who were struggling with their weight. I was surrounded by a lot of salespeople who, had some kind of chronic fatigue or digestive issues, or they were always trying that next fad diet. I still see it to this day. And, keto this, intermittent fasting that, doing, something for 30 days and then going back to the same lifestyle that they had before. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not wanting to ever diss any one choice. However, we are a accumulation of our daily choices. And having been in the fitness industry, I've coached thousands of people on health and wellness and fitness. I sold nutritional products. I led people through clean eating challenges, kitchen cleanouts, grocery store tours, you name it. And there was always that battle, that inner battle. And nutrition is an inner game first, then it's an outer game. And then, of course, it's always knowing what to do, but then taking action, right? And so I was what I called a garbage can foodie. I thought I could eat and drink whatever I wanted all day long, every day, whining and dining, and then go out and just run, burn 3,000 calories, and I was fine. And oh boy, was I not fine. So at the end of the day, what I want to encourage you to do this week, maybe this month, as is we're getting close to summer. I just started a 21-day detox. I'm on day 3. No alcohol, no sugar. I get animal protein this week, but then it's gone pretty much by this weekend. And it's all about bringing down the inflammation. And it's also about taking time to breathe, taking time to reflect, taking time to meditate on, why am I choosing to eat or drink what I'm choosing? Why am I choosing to maybe book myself back to back, and just be present? And I do this detox usually once a year. It's actually been more than 2 years since I've done it, because I've moved across the country. And admittedly, I did allow for about a minute my sales career to start to consume me, between balancing motherhood, being in a marriage that really matters to me, being a good friend that really matters to me. And I started to slip into those old habits that I had back in the real estate at the end of my demise, that ended up causing me 5 years of mental and physical and spiritual health challenges. In the recession, that was my wake-up call, not just from the business side of things and creating more balance in that arena, but also in my nutrition. So just to kind of paint you the picture, when I lost my health in the recession, that was actually much worse than losing my financial wealth. I was so sick, I couldn't even imagine getting out of bed at times. I was so sick, I'd have anxiety attacks that were so bad that they would shake my bed and I thought someone was jumping on it, but it was my body. I would have, nightmares. I had a lot of inflammation. I could see my face would puff out. My hands would puff out every time I ate something starchy. When I drank coffee, and typically it was Starbucks, and it wasn't organic and all the things that we know now. And I would drink it, but I'd run to the bathroom within minutes. of drinking in it, and it was definitely not a good experience. I do talk about poop quite a bit, and let's just say it was not a rock solid experience. And I didn't really realize how much my digestion had been manifesting more of a nervous energy, and I would digest my anxiety, I would digest my fear, my challenges. You know, we are physical, mental, spiritual beings, and I got to learn that through those 5 years. I worked with a naturopathic doctor first and foremost, and I was freaking out because I was exhausted. I was depressed. I'm like, dude, this is not me. I'm usually an Ironman triathlete and going out and competing, and now I don't even want to get on the bike. And she said, "Oh yeah, well, we just did this blood work. We did some, saliva tests, urine tests, and turns out I had severe inflammation, terrible gut health, overgrowth of candida, which is, yeast in your gut. I didn't have like a yeast infection. It was just more of fatigue and exhaustion because my gut brain had been annihilated by my daily habits for over a decade. Having coffee constantly, especially sugar in my coffee. It was more like sugar with a little coffee. Constantly on the run, digesting my stress. My nervous system was on full tilt all the time. So I learned how to slow down. I was forced to slow down. And maybe that's happened to you right now with this whole pandemic thing. Maybe, just maybe, you've been shelter in place and figuring out this new system, this new life, you hear this all the time, new normal. And we also hear that you've got to pivot, right? So you're pivoting. Maybe you're just not even sure how to pivot. And day by day, week by week, and of course, as the months continue, what is this new opportunity going to look like for you? And maybe you've had to cook for yourself more often than ever. Maybe you've ordered out a lot more because there's a lot of curbside pickup and delivery that has taken off as a result of this, which is great for the economy, but is it good for your waistline? Is it good for your gut? Is it good for your emotional health? What toxins are floating around and free radicals in your body from the stress? How clean is your home? We just had a cleaning person come back for the first time in 60 days. And oh my gosh, that was liberating because I'm not a housekeeper. That's for darn sure. So I encourage you, when I went through the recession and was shelter in place in my own way back in 2007, and I started working with holistic doctors, I started studying, food as my medicine as opposed to just fuel and a means to an end to get me to my next appointment, or looking at coffee as that adrenaline junkie fix. I got to have it all the time, every meeting, right? Now you have an opportunity to make your own coffee at home. Maybe you have an opportunity to choose tea. Maybe you have the opportunity to choose to learn how to make new food. It took me 5 years to overcome my battle with my gut health challenges. It took me 5 years to wean myself off of coffee and sugar. And my hope for you is that you'll be able to learn a lot sooner than I did on how to reinvent your relationship with food. And through that process, I will tell you, it can be emotional because I didn't realize I was an emotional foodie. I didn't realize coffee was part of my emotional fix to just get that initial adrenaline rush, spike the cortisol, which impacted my adrenals, which over time did contribute to my depression, my anxiety, and my adrenal fatigue. I could not overcome that without working with a holistic doctor, by the way. And not to diss traditional medicine. I am a big fan and proponent of East meets West, and both and, not either or. And I will say, because of what I learned and how prevention is really worth a pound of cure, for me, ever since then, working with my mindset, my subconscious mind, and my gut health, I haven't had to really see a doctor, a traditional medicine doctor, for more than just my annual exam, my physical, those kinds of things. So I am all hello. Good morning. Nice to meet you too. I hope you can hear me okay. This is my first Podbean Live. If you can give me a hell yeah, you sound great, or whatever, that would be fantastic. Perfect. Wonderful. Appreciate it. So, and if you have any questions, health related, this is my first live, so I'm excited to excited to hear from anyone and start to create a following. Because if you just entered and you're just tuning in, I've been in sales for 20 years. I've had a health and fitness career, and I've lost my health, and I specialize in helping salespeople have the best life. You know, my goal is to help you to create more abundance in less time, and also be able to give you inspiration and tools to be the best salesperson, make the most money, especially if you're working on being able to virtual sell maybe for the first time in your life. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. So what I encourage you to do this week, if you haven't done this already, is to be able to have a journal, a food journal, a mindfulness journal. You know, in sales, when I lost my health and I had to figure it out for 5 years, it took me 5 years. I hope it doesn't take anybody else 5 years. I want to share with you all of my knowledge every week, every month on my podcast moving forward. The whole goal is to just to be more mindful, because once you lose your health, you lose everything. I did not make much money for those 5 years. In fact, I spent probably way more than I made during that time. And I do believe in divine timing. Yes, that's very key. So at the end of the day, I encourage you to have a food journal or a mindfulness journal, even just for a few days. Doesn't have to be an ongoing thing. I know that new habits take time. Like I shared with you a little bit ago, it took me 5 years to wean myself off of coffee and sugar addiction. There's no Coffeeholics Anonymous. There's no Sugarholics Anonymous. And really those two ingredients, they say sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. And quite honestly, it's so socially acceptable and widely sold. I know all the wineries and all of the different types of fast foods that you can ship to people. They're making bank during this time. They are recession proof because people lean heavily on their addictions, whether it's sugar, alcohol, caffeine, whatever the case may be. Just really be mindful and write down, why am I drinking 3 cups of coffee a day? Or, why am I turning to ice cream at night? And just know that ultimately your daily choices define you. Pull out that book, The Compound Effect, by Darren Hardy. I don't know if you guys have read it, but I'm typing it in to the message here. And just have the ability to focus on those choices for the next few days. And then if you are able, on Friday, I'll be interviewing a certified health and nutrition coach and expert. Would love to have you guys attend on that. It's Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. I am here in Southern California. Feel free to shout out where you guys are calling in from. And I will be, it'll be live on my fan page. If you are able to look me up on Facebook, it's going to go live on Lois Kofi Enterprises. Awesome. Wonderful. Great to have you guys on today. Thanks for following. Feel free to share and know that it's 12:30 Pacific on Friday. And every Friday I go live on Lois Kofi Enterprises talking about health, wealth, and wisdom. And then I do have my podcasts. Of course, you guys are on here. But if you want to check out my landing page and receive every recording, I do send them out to my fan base, to my family. I call you guys my family, and wanting to help you create the best health, the best wealth, and really glean a lot from the wisdom of myself and others that I interview so that you can be better, you can do better, and you can have better. So that's my main message today, is just food is our medicine. What you have going on inside of you is a collection of many, many, many choices. And like I shared with you, my depression was primarily created by my gut health challenges and years and years and years of not paying attention to that. Now I'm super mindful, and it all starts with, what are you taking in every day? Food, beverage, and of course, we often talk about, what are you taking in from media, social media, things of that nature. So definitely tune in on Friday. I'm going to end today with just encouraging you again to write out that food journal, focus on good, healthy, wholesome foods. If you can, even one ingredient in foods. I'll be educating a lot more on gut health and spiritual health and mental health over the course of the next year. So thanks, guys, for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. In the meantime, here's to your health, here's to your wealth, and here's to your wisdom. Have an awesome day.